James Hartness is one of the most important figures in Vermont history. He had come in the late 1800s to Vermont. He was able to build quite an industrial empire here. But he was also a creative person, and that led him to follow some of his interests, like looking at the stars, towards building his own telescope. The telescope is specially built so that there are no doors that open up, and he could sit inside and look at the stars even on the coldest winter days. Unfortunately, there was one problem. He still had to walk from the front of the Hartness house to the observatory on the lawn, which is about 300 feet. Now, I'm a simple guy, and I just would have built a covered walkway. But James Hartness, being the engineer, built a tunnel between the house and the observatory, and while he's building the tunnel, he decides, well, why don't I build a few more rooms? So there are a total of 8 rooms underneath the observatory. Back in those days, they were actually James Hartness's private work area. The telescope is a 10-inch refractor telescope with an equatorial drive. Now, what is an equatorial drive? If you think for a moment, the telescope is sitting on the Earth, and the Earth is rotating, making one revolution approximately every 24 hours. Well, because you're looking through the telescope, what you're actually doing is you're actually looking as the Earth is rotating across the sky. You're not just looking at one point in the sky. The equatorial drive is basically a clock. It rotates the telescope in exactly the opposite direction of the Earth's rotation at exactly the same speed. The viewer will see whatever is in the telescope eyepiece for as long as he would like because of the counteracting effect of the equatorial drive.